Oh, I didn't do the intro.
We just went live.
I guess we're live. Well, I will have to do the warning. Warning. This information is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just an idiot bodybuilder. Don't listen to any fucking thing I say, guys. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So there you go. That's my disclosure. You can read it in the section below. Sorry. Once again, ADHD for the win. I went live without the intro.
Boom, we're live.
Boom, we're live. What's up, Blunt Force Tanya? Tanya is consistently on here.
I love it.
She's awesome.
Ladies in the stream.
I like her new username too.
Blunt.
What was it before?
I don't remember. Tanya something.
Blunt Force Tanya. I like Blunt Force Tanya.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I am. It's football Sunday. I'm worried about the Commanders today. Like half the damn team is out. No Jaden. No Terry. Half their offense is out. So I don't know. But they are playing the Falcons, who just got blown up last week by the Carolina Panthers. So that hopefully that bodes well for them. We'll see.
What'd you think of your Marcus Mariota stepping in for your young quarterback there?
I just laugh because DC fans are so fickle. Everybody here is like, oh, maybe he's better than Jaden. I'm like, dude, are you fucking high? Dude's 32 years old, 34 years old. He's been hurt every fucking season he's played. Yeah, he's a backup quarterback. Everybody wants the backup quarterback to be. We don't know how to have nice things and appreciate them here in Washington, D.C. We just have been so used to having just dog shit teams for years. When we actually get a good player, people are tricked into thinking that Marcus Mariota might be better than Jaden Daniels because he had a good game. Or maybe the Raiders just suck that bad. That's possible.
Yeah, you guys handled the Raiders rather easily.
Yeah, we didn't play our best and blew them out. They were, it was interesting, but it's funny. I had some people commenting like, is this a bodybuilding podcast or football? And then some people love the football talk, but during football season, it's 50-50 bodybuilding and football. We do have the Olympia coming up, which is the quote unquote Super Bowl bodybuilding.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be a good one this year.
Man, if you can pick the top 5, good luck.
Oh,
yeah, who knows? I do think it's pretty. I don't know. I would be shocked if Derek, what's his name, Hottie and Samson aren't in the top 5. But you never know. Sometimes people come in off, but outside of that, it's a crapshoot. Nick looks crazy, but once again, you got to get on stage. There's a lot of people that are Instagram Mr. Olympias, Reagan Grimes.
Right.
One thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if you guys saw the France Pro yesterday where Quinton lost again.
Yeah, I would. He needs a coach. I'm sorry to say it. Dude's tried coaching himself. I think he did okay. And there's always this. I was arguing with somebody online the other day, like people don't need coaches, and I'm like, bro, tell me you've never competed before without telling me you've never competed before. Your brain just goes mushy. There's no other sport where you don't have a coach. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. Do you think Tom Brady got to where he was with no coaches? It's incredibly difficult to be, even if you're the smartest, most grounded person in the world, it's incredibly difficult to be objective about yourself. Yeah. You just can't be. You just can't be.
Yeah.
Impossible for me.
I've always, and I don't know if it's a financial thing or if it's I can do it better than everybody else, but I would say very rarely do I ever see anybody who says they can do it themselves that does a better job than they would have with a coach. It almost never happens. Sure. The only example I can honestly think of is Dorian Yates, but even he had people in his ear.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like he completely did it in a vacuum, but I mean, he's really the only example I can yeah, Tanya's right. I've never Sam Sulik. Well, I mean, dude lost 50 pounds on his contest prep. I mean, he did get a pro card, but I would say that he could have looked, probably shouldn't have done classic, probably should have done bodybuilding.
Well, even if you got a coach, just for the fact of like reinforcing good habits, it's something you've always preached, Paul, is that you can practice and then you can practice correctly. Like if you're practicing poor habits all the time and you don't have someone to correct you, you're not progressing, you're getting worse. So
yeah, that's the thing I learned in conservatory when I went to music school. You know, they always taught us practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Exactly. Yeah, you can spend all your time working on the wrong things. I've done it. You know,
well, why do you think some of these basketball players are shooting 1,000 free throws every day? You know, the basics, just continuing to do them.
Well, if your form is wrong and you practice the wrong form, you know, I see it all the time. Posing is an area where it's apparent. I get guys all the time that I coach that are like, well, like I have a posing coach or I practice posing every day. I'm like, do whatever you're fucking practicing. It's the wrong thing because your posing sucks. You need to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with Tanya on this one too, that every bodybuilder says they've never had a coach, always has 15 different second set of eyes that they would send pictures to every week. And I will say this, that's one of my big pet peeves, is someone who like claims to coach themselves until they lose. And then they're like, oh no, so-and-so was coaching me and totally blew it. And I should have done what I wanted to do the whole time. And, you know, I never should have listened to anyone but myself.
I mean, I know when I'm going to get fired as a coach, it almost always happens after shows.
People are emotional. Like you should never make any decisions right after a show.
You know, like here's my thing when I got people going into shows, I try to stay medium. If I know like somebody looks like they got a good shot at winning, I don't say anything about it. If they look like they're going to bomb out, I don't really say anything about it. I just I don't want them to get in their own head too much, so I try to stay medium with things, and so that way they're in. I heard Chris Aceto talking about it. Like a lot of times people talk themselves out of victories on stage, and I've seen that with clients before, where they just get so in their own head that they just get so stressed out and worried that they end up fucking themselves. And then sometimes like shit cannot look good, and then it just pulls together at the last minute. I've seen that a million times. Like the last 48 hours, it's like, oh, all right, well, you know, things pulled together. You look good. And, you know, ultimately all you can do is work hard, put your best out there and get up on stage. But yeah, I don't know. These motherfuckers that want to blame you for, you know, their lack of, it pisses me off, to be honest with you. I don't do anything different from one client to another. The ones that win and ones that don't win. And then sometimes it just doesn't break your way. I mean, you can prepare as best as you possibly can prepare, and then sometimes just fate has other plans. I mean, that fucking happens.
Yeah.
I think the hardest I ever worked on a prep was the worst I ever looked on stage. To be honest with you. That one show where I got down to like 188 pounds. What's up, Scott? And over dieted and overdid the cardio, and that was the hardest I ever worked, the shittiest I ever felt, the most I ever pushed myself, and it was the worst I looked. I wish Justin was on here, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really follow what he told me to do on that prep either. I followed the diet for the most part, but like, you know, he told me to do 30 minutes of cardio. I did 40. He told me to eat 50 grams of carbs. I ate 35. He told me to have a cheat meal. I skipped it. You know, all this stuff, that this knucklehead mentality that I thought that I needed to have to be tough and work harder than everybody else, ended up just fucking me.
See, should have listened to your coach.
Yeah. You know, it's lesson learned. I made an adjustment afterwards, but yeah, it's, yeah, I mean, I always pick up clients after shows too. I get guys come, I go to shows and guys are like, yeah, my coach fucking sucked. I'm going to hit you up after the show. And I'm like, I usually what I tell people is like, just give it a couple weeks, man. You know, take 2 weeks, eat some fucking food, settle down a little bit, and then reevaluate things. I usually encourage people to actually just go talk to their coach first, express the things that they're concerned about with their coach, and if their coach is a jerk, of course, I mean, I'm not saying there aren't shitty coaches. There definitely are quite a few of them, but I find for the most part, the guys that are working with competitors have good intentions, and especially the guys that are there at the shows with their guys, I mean, it's like, clearly somebody's going out of their way to be there. They care. There are some coaches that don't care, or some of them that are just incompetent. I was talking to a guy.
Scott Mize, who's in the stream. He had I can't remember which podcast it was. Maybe if he could drop it in the comments. He talked about all of his previous coaching experiences on a podcast once, and it was so fascinating to hear him talk about the differences between coaching styles. And I mean, because he's had a lot of coaches, and like what worked and what didn't, and kind of, it was really fascinating. So I think anybody who's like looking for a coach, it would be a great listen, like just to kind of hear his experience and the things he has picked up along the way. And I mean, I think that too. I mean, I've had some really awesome coaches, and all of my coaching experiences I've learned something from, good or bad, but rare that they were bad. Most were good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely had some negative experiences. But I've been lucky. I've had, Justin's great. I think Justin and I work well with Justin because he's very hands off. And I'm not a rah, I don't like somebody climbing up my ass, and, I don't like the authoritarian approach, and I don't like somebody telling, being rah either. Justin just gives me, I'm like, I just need somebody to give me fucking numbers. Tell me the truth. If you look like shit, tell me that I look like shit. Just have an objective eye and give me the adjustments, and I'll take care of the rest. That's all I need. That's all. And I try to be somewhere in the middle. I try to give guys data, but I also want to make sure guys are, because you are part psychiatrist in the contest prep too. I want to try to keep guys out of their own head as well. There are some dudes that get in their own head. I mean, I've been in my own head before, but for the most part, yeah.
Paul's good for hey, just have fun, man.
I mean, ultimately, that's what it boils down to. None of us are going to be competing with Samson and Nick at the Olympia, right? Yeah. This is something we do to have fun. I mean, I have a pro card for what it's worth, but look, I'm never going to be out there competing at a top level. I'm just having fun, man. I love bodybuilding. I love being around the other people. I love being there with the other competitors. It's really what it boils down to me. And I'm like, yeah, just fucking enjoy yourself, man. Why are you getting stressed out for the Mr. Hoboken, right? I mean, there's nothing to be stressed out about. Just go out there and have fun. That was definitely something I learned from music. When I was in college and conservatory, we were required to do, I think it was 3 public performances a week, and I really got annoyed with it. I'm like, why the fuck do I have to do this? This is so fucking stupid, man. It's a waste of my time. Throwing shade on Hoboken. That was subconscious, Scott. I know we talked about it the other day. Yeah, no, I mean, but it was just to get used to being on a stage and being out there. And I remember one of my music mentors telling me, like, ultimately music you shouldn't be stressed out performing. It's a fun thing. You should go out there and have fun and enjoy sharing your craft with people that want to be there with you and enjoy it as well. You're sharing an experience with other people. The people that are at the bodybuilding show, the people that are there to watch. I mean, you were at Masters Nationals, Mike. It's a great group of people, man. Yeah. You meet some fantastic people. I just like, I know it sounds cliche, but I never really cared about how I placed. I see a lot of guys that are just disappointed and upset and mad about how they place. And I'm like, that just kind of takes all the enjoyment out of it. I don't do bodybuilding to get first, second, or third place. I do bodybuilding because I fucking love bodybuilding.
Well, and just from a physiological sense, right? Like, and this was my experience at Masters Nationals. Like, I can set up in my Airbnb stressed out about how I'm going to do my first national show and totally ruin my look with a cortisol dump. Or I just go down to the show, meet some other bodybuilders, talk, have Paul tell me, just have fun, man. And then all of a sudden you drop all the water, you're looking great, and you're ready for the stage, you know?
Yeah, you were pretty stressed out the day before, and I'm like, dude, just chill, man. Just have fun, man. Just go. You look great the day after. I don't know what happened, but you calmed down, you got settled in. And and it's one of those things too. The more you do something, the more comfortable you get with it. Now you've had that experience, you know what to expect, and you'll go back the next time and be much more relaxed. And that was kind of the point of the performing multiple times. And that's why I think, I don't like older competitors doing a lot of or at least peaking for a lot of shows, because it can be hard on the body. But I do think getting out there and doing more shows, especially for younger guys, is good for your psyche and good for having you mentally prepared for shows. I get a lot of guys that are just like, I just need to put on 10 more pounds. I want to be maxing out my weight class before I compete. And I'm like, bro, every year you wait is a year lost. The way you get better at competing is to fucking compete, man. If you want to get better at it, you're gonna suck at your first show. It's just your first few shows, probably. You just got to go out there and learn the process, get through the butterflies, and get used to doing it. I got my guy, I'm gonna give him a shout out, but Cam, I just never in a million years thought this dude would be competing for a pro card when he first came to me for coaching. I don't know how many fucking shows he's done over the last year. 12, a lot, and he just gets better every fucking show. And his posing is now he's like he couldn't pose when I first met him, and now he's one of the best posers out of all my clients. And and he just missed a pro card by 2 spots at North Americans. I'm like, I would have never in a fucking million years thought that he was capable of that. So it's just you just don't know, man. And just go out there and work and have fun. And the thing I love about him is he's so chill and he just loves it. He just loves doing it. He's just out there. I think I'm gonna do another show next week. And I'm like, you sure, man? He's like, yeah, man, I love this shit. So
what division does he compete in?
He started off in bodybuilding, and then he threw in some board shorts and started just playing around. And I'm like, dude, I think this might be your division, man. I don't think bodybuilding's your division. I think men's physique is your division. Let's make a shift. Let's make a shift to men's physique and see what happens. And then he shifted to men's physique, and it's just like you found his home. Sometimes your division finds you. It's funny how that works. Anyway, that was a long fucking rant, methylene blue rant on that Quinton needs to hire a coach and get out of his own head.
Well, you're basically explaining me when you and I first met, Paul. I was kind of in the position where I was convinced, telling myself that I'm going to just, get the dream physique I want before I even step on stage. But until I just went ahead and did my first show, did we start actually making better progress. And I hear it with a lot of my clients. They all want to be like Olympia ready before they do their first show. And it's like, this is how you learn, by going through the steps, having some failures, enjoying yourself, seeing how it goes.
Yeah, you wouldn't dream of playing in the NFL and waiting until you're an NFL quality player to start playing football. I mean, you got to take your bumps and lumps, exactly. and learn. But and I mean this in the most positive way possible. I know Quinton had a bad experience with a coach. We all know about that situation. There were quite a few guys that had bad experience with that one coach. And, I don't like talking trash about it. It seemed like the guy had some personal shit going on in his life, something. I don't know. I don't like getting into shit talking about other people, but, and he's probably skeptical to work with somebody else, but I would say find somebody that you can trust, that you vibe with. The way I look at my coaching, I look at it as a partnership. It's not my way or the highway. I truly, it's a partnership. We work together. And then sometimes guys will push back on me, and I'm like, that's fine. Let's hear your thoughts and concerns, and we'll figure out a solution that's if I think you're crazy and you're doing something stupid, I'll tell you. But if but your body better than I do. And that's, I'd say for him, he probably needs to go out and find that person He seems to be flailing around trying to find a certain look. Like I thought this weekend he actually looked flat, which is strange for him. I think probably because he heard everybody talking about he needed to be in better shape. He just got outsized by that Russian dude. That Russian dude was fucking holy shit, man. That guy came out of nowhere.
Yeah. He looked amazing.
People got to remember too, it goes both ways. I mean, you got to be coachable as an athlete as well to have a successful relationship with a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this guy's legs.
Saw that coming. Yeah.
Look at his legs compared. He actually made Quinton look small.
Yeah.
Look at the legs. Holy fuck, man.
Guy's solid.
Wow.
His Instagram's impressive too. I mean, I know they're Instagram photos, but he's got some wild looks to him. He's very mutant-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got his belly button taped up from the hernia. Everybody with their hernias.
Mm.
Jesus Christ, he's making this dude look tiny.
Like he looks like he looks like he's standing next to an actual child.
You know you shred it when you got veins in your glutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that dude looks ridiculous. Yeah, I didn't mean to get on the coaching rant. Sorry about that, guys.
You know what I thought worked against Quint too a little bit was he seemed like the odd man out. You know, like he was kind of the one pretty tall, kind of like real nice shape, where everyone else is kind of like a mass monster potential. He kind of seemed like the odd man out. I don't know if that played a role on kind of what they were looking for. He just kind of seemed out of place, possibly. I don't know what you guys thought, but he was like the one pretty physique where everyone else was kind of between Hassan and this Russian guy, all these mass monsters.
I can tell you being the tall. I think Quinton's close to 6 feet. I saw him down at Tampa. He's a big fucking dude. Being tall kind of sucks for bodybuilding.
Yes, it does.
It's. I mean, you just have more. What do they say? You want to take up space to look big, and you have more space to fill when you got long limbs. You know, so it's just how it is. I mean, I would, you know, if I were to roll back the clock and be a, you know, 28-year-old Paul that wanted to compete on the Olympia stage, I'd have to be 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's just, I wouldn't be competitive unless I was close to 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and really like.
He's close to 300 pounds and he's what, 5'6", 5'7"?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know, and last year I won the super heavies at Masters Nationals, but I was essentially the same weight as Chris Bumstead, at similar height. You know, not that I'm comparing myself to Chris Bumstead. Please don't take that out of context. The dude's fucking 10 times better bodybuilder than me. But I'm just saying we have similar size, and I don't look like that dude, but I would have to be massively bigger. Like my frame has a lot more space to fill out. And that's the sucky thing. Like as big as Quinton is, maybe he needs to be a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I think he is close to 300 pounds, 270, 280 on stage. Maybe he needs to be more like 290, 290. I mean, he's similar. He has, I would say his, not trying to compare them because they're, you know, both of the same genetic makeup, but him and Samson are very similar. I mean, they look structure similar, but Samson's a good bit bigger than him. I think Samson's got about 20 pounds on him. So if I were looking for an ideal for him, if I were trying to chase a look, I'd probably try to use Samson as my framework or model, and maybe get a little bit bigger. And then, you know, conditioning's always been a problem with him. I don't know what that is. Some dudes just have a hard time getting hard. You know, like here's the thing: if you can't get hard and grainy, just be the biggest motherfucker on stage. That's, you know, you got a choice. Like I usually, like for me, like I know I'm not going to muscle per square inch. I'm not going to be the biggest guy out there, so I try to push conditioning hard. for me. But everybody's different.
Mm.
Well, Sam's is another one of those guys where we're having very similar conversations about him before he came up too, you know.
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time getting hard and grainy and dry, and you know, at some point the switch got flipped for him, and I believe he actually was a little lighter when he actually won the Olympia.
Yeah, he got big and then he came down. That's kind of, you know, so I think he was up to like 320, 330, if I remember right. And then he came down to like 290 or so on stage. But still, you know, that 290 is a little bit bigger than you know, you got to push up and then come back down. Hey, Joel. Yeah, I saw Joel sending my positive thoughts your way, man. I saw you had the facial paralysis stuff going on. I had that happen to a friend of mine one time. It was a virus. Eventually got better. But that's terrifying.
That's what Joel said in his he did a YouTube video about it. Like he actually there's a condition that apparently Justin Bieber also had that is it's an ear related type of viral thing. It's not like Bell's palsy or something like that. It's an actual like infectious process. He said that he had incredible pain in the ear too, which man, just crazy to wake up one day like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his talk.
System. Oh, go ahead.
I just saw his talk about how life is precious and you don't take any day for granted. I mean, that's so true.
Yeah.
You know, not that my situation is anything comparable to him, but like I fully thought I'd be out there competing this year and with the top guys in my age group in the IFBB, and then, you know, I fucking tore my bicep. You know, so take each day, you know, live in the moment and make the most of each day. It's a good lesson for all of us. You don't know when it's going to be taken away from you.
Yeah, that interview stuff is a little scary too, because that can throw off your balance with your equilibrium if you get infected in your inner ear.
Yeah, so we're sending our positive thoughts your way, Joel. We're thinking about you.
Yeah, heal up, buddy.
Positive energy your way. Did you guys see the? I made a note to talk about this. There was a new study out from the University of South Wales about creatine, and they did a study on it, basically showing that it doesn't do shit for muscle growth.
No, I heard about that. I didn't get into it though. I heard you mention that.
Yeah, it was, you know, I read through it. Now, granted, you know, there's going to be. I've always been of the ilk, like I always thought creatine, I could take or leave creatine. I don't use it. For me, mainly, I don't use it because it gives me diarrhea every time I try to use it. And it just makes me a bloated mess. But like guys, like all my clients ask me about it, and I'm just like, I mean, if you want to use it, use it. I usually yank it out on prep because it makes people watery. But yeah, this study showed that it was a 12-week study. I have my notes here. They loaded on 10 grams and then went to 5 grams a day. And maybe that's not enough. But over the 12 weeks, there was zero difference between the control group and the group that was using it as far as lean body mass
strength. Gain. Oh, so were they deconditioned individuals? I always wonder with these, you know, are they using bodybuilders or are they using just like lifestyle people? What's the average body fat percentage of these people?
Yeah, that I don't know the details on. I'd have to dig into the study, but
this was the analyzed strength performance or size.
It was hypertrophy. It was a hypertrophy study. They
gave everyone the same dose regardless of their body weight. Like everybody was on 5 grams no matter what.
5 grams, yeah.
Yeah,
interesting. I mean, the studies on creatine are pretty interesting for like brain and cognitive function. But interestingly enough, in a lot of them, they show the most benefit when people are like in a sleep deprived state. Like, so for people who are really sleep deprived and then they give them an extra creatine, like more so than a person would normally consume, then they see improvements in cognitive function. But like that person at a baseline, like if they're sleeping and everything is normal in their life, like they don't see that same benefit because I think it's because it can get, you know, depleted more quickly. But what did Tanya have to say? Largely interested in study results about creatine effects on muscle in people with almost no muscle. I mean, that's I think where an interesting part of that is.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. This is just anecdote. from what I've seen with my clients, I generally don't suggest that my clients use it, and I've seen no difference in results between the people that use it and don't use it. I just don't. I just, I have plenty of guys that get plenty big not using creatine. If you're eating red meat, in theory, you should be getting it through dietary sources anyway. You're not going to get the huge doses. But I don't know. I yanked it out of my diet because my stomach can't tolerate it. It just pulls water into my intestine, and you know what happens when that happens. And I've tried many different variations of it, and it also makes me water retentive and my blood pressure goes up. So I just stay away from it. And then I also, I know this really, in theory, shouldn't have any effect on kidney health, but I do see an elevation in creatinine numbers on guys that use creatine. We can literally yank it out and creatinine numbers will come back down afterwards. So it does skew creatinine numbers. I'm not saying that creatine doesn't work or doesn't have any value, but I personally have never really used it. I got quite big without it.
That's part of what I'm curious down the road with people doing these doses for neurological benefit, because a lot of them are pretty high dose. They're not like 5 grams, 10 grams. They're maybe 20 to 40 plus. I'm just guessing, but I want to say around 30 to 40 grams most people use for neurological help. And I'm curious of how that's going to play out on liver down the road, creatinine levels, if that's going to affect anything, because it is a pretty good amount.
Yeah, I mean, it's when your kidneys are not filtering correctly, creatinine will rise. That's not necessarily creatine. I think it's the waste product of creatine metabolism is creatinine. So it's not that your kidneys are not filtering correctly. It's just that it's the creatine causing an elevation in those numbers. It's just like when I see guys all the time that have elevated BUN. Every single person I do blood work on has elevated BUN. It's from a high protein diet, and then what do steroids do? They cause more nitrogen retention, so you're going to have more nitrogen in your blood.
Yeah, I only started using creatine again for the mental health benefits and the cognitive benefits after that study that came out in 2022. But again, like your experience, Paul, once I got started on it, the side effects were just too much.
Yeah, for me, it's bloating, increased blood pressure, diarrhea. Those are 3 things I don't like. So I just
yeah, you're very finicky, because it seems like that's one thing a lot of people handle pretty well is creatine.
I've heard quite a few people say they get diarrhea from creatine.
Really?
Yeah, it's a common side effect for creatine because it pulls water into the intestine.
Right.
If you have that, I think it has to do with gastric emptying. The rate of how clearly I have the fact that GLP-1s have made my digestion better are an indicator that I have rapid gastric emptying. So if that creatine is just going straight into the intestine, it's probably pulling water in there too. So yeah, here's another one. It runs right through me.
Yeah, I used to take it all the time, and then at some point I just stopped taking it, and I don't really take creatine.
Josh,
anymore.
it's a skew. It's measuring. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I misspoke, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. It changes the blood panels.
Well, that's
all right,
interesting because it's the most studied supplement, and now we're getting a study telling us it does nothing for you when we have hundreds of them telling you how much it benefits you.
I think a lot of these studies are bullshit on the stuff to sell supplements.
Right.
But
you got to follow the money, right? It's always some new sweetener manufacturer that funds the last sweetener research that says that one gives you cancer, right?
Yeah.
I know a supplement that does work. It's called growth hormone and testosterone. Those are 2 that work. And if
Amen.
you're taking enough of those, you really don't need anything else.
This is a little off topic, but talking about sweeteners, I this whole prep I've been playing around with pulling in, taking out certain like sweeteners and different kinds of like peppers and different things that I've been trying to make sure my digestion is as good as possible. And I used to always use the yellow Splenda as a sweetener, and I come to find out that messes up my stomach more than anything. I switched to the green stevia based Splenda, and it works great for me. But it's just interesting how certain things, like sweeteners, can throw off your stomach as well. I've been doing that for years and years.
Ryan Parsons says, remember when Bill Phillips said HMB feels like DECA? Oh yeah, I remember. A lot of these guys were like pimping supplements like they were PEDs. I'm not saying it doesn't contribute something, but it just keep in mind it's a dietary supplement.
Right.
It's like taking amino acid pills. How much of a difference does it make? It's probably pretty marginal. It's one of the, like Tanya said, like, you want to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. It's something to add in. All right, we want to grab some questions. So moral of the story is creatine may help, but there's a new study out that says it doesn't contribute a whole lot to muscle growth. Take it for what it is. Just thought I would toss it out there, be a topic for discussion. And I just have never used it, and I know creatine's probably the most popular supplement there is, and people are always shocked when they ask me how much creatine I take, and I'm like 0. They're like, really? You don't take creatine? I'm like, nope, I've never taken creatine before in my life. Well, I have, but
I take it. I take it every day.
Doesn't agree with me. And hey, if it works for you, great.
I mean, it doesn't not work. Let's put it that way. Like, I guess I'm with Tanya. Like, I don't have any negatives from it, so I take it. And it's inexpensive. I mean, it's an easy, I don't know, I just throw it in my water every morning, and I take it.
All right.
Ready for questions?
Yes.
Okay. So this first one is from Sean Fitzgerald. He said, have y'all heard of skin feeling sunburned while on Reta and how to get it to stop? He followed it up with, he's been dealing with it for 2 weeks. He went to the doctor, where is he? And they put him on gabapentin. So.
Yeah, it's one of the, it was, if you look at the clinical trial, it was one of the side effects from Reta, and I've seen it with a couple of my clients. I never had an issue with it until recently. Like, it was a couple weeks ago. I felt it for like a couple days afterwards. You know that niacin flush that you get, where it feels like your skin's burning? It feels like that.
Really?
It's really fucking weird. It's maybe not as intense as the niacin flush, but it was like a low level of that, almost like I don't know how to describe it. The closest the closest thing I can compare it to is niacin, in the niacin flush, but you may need to try something else.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that when tirzepatide and semaglutide were kind of first becoming like really mainstream popular, that people talked about skin sensitivity from it, but then it kind of disappeared from the conversation. But that was definitely something I heard more people talking about in the beginning, like that their even like their clothes would feel like uncomfortable, like just touching their skin. I think this is where, medications, there are multiple versions of medications exist for a reason, and perhaps trying a different GLP-1, if, especially if it's so intense that you're on gabapentin. I mean, that's pretty intense skin sensitivity.
GLP-1 receptor agonists and related incretin drugs can sometimes cause parasympathesis, tingling, or burning feeling compared to pins and needles. This is due to the effect of peripheral nerves or local vascular changes through the mechanism, though the mechanism isn't fully understood by researchers yet. So there you go. They don't fucking know why, but it does it to some people.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it does seem to be more pronounced with Reta. And I had it after that one injection, but I never had it again.
Did it
lasted
start
for like
right after you injected?
mm-mm,
Like, was it pretty quick onset? No.
nope.
Hmm.
Nope. It did happen when I
Like,
increased the dose. I did try to go up to 2 milligrams from 1. And then I did notice it.
how long did it take to kind of have onset?
The next day I noticed it.
Hmm.
What did Josh
Interesting.
say it was?
Allodynia?
Josh is a nurse. Any histamine blocker to decrease. Yeah, it sounds like, they did mention that it could be a histamine response on here too, but they said they're not 100% sure that it is an immune reaction, that they think it may. This is the other things. Histamine or immune response is another possible cause. The injection itself may trigger a mild immune reaction, which can feel like a burning or warmth on the skin. This isn't typically dangerous unless it's accompanied by hives, but where researchers are still not 100% sure if this is the root cause of the feeling. Because retatrutide is still in clinical trials, some skin sensations might be more noticeable at higher doses. Data is still forthcoming. There you go. So says the internet.
Oh, he said it's been pretty bad. Interesting.
Yeah, I would not take it then.
Yeah.
Here's a simple solution for bros. This drug makes me feel bad. What should I do? Take more drugs to make it not feel bad? No, that's not the answer. Don't take that drug. Try something else.
Find another drug to counteract the effects of that drug, and then another drug.
Yeah, I love it. Like, hey man, I can't take DECA because it causes XYZ problems. Maybe I should take these dopamine agonists and all this other shit to help me deal with that. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Take 3 other drugs to deal with a side effect from a drug, but then dudes won't take statins. It cracks me up. Yeah, I tried. Sorry, I'm teasing you. What I would suggest is try, and this is always the thing. This is why I found certain things that work well for me, and I just stick with those things. I keep things simple. And only change one variable at a time. Like I like when guys a lot of times will throw like 5 different things at a symptom at one time. And then I'm like, how do you know what's working?
Yeah.
At that point, you're just throwing a bunch of shit up against the wall and guessing at what's sticking. All right.
I'm sure Sean has actually been on Reta for a while before that started happening. If it's something that was,
I've been on it all year, dude, and I never had an issue until recently. Yeah, it's
I recently started experiencing some side effects from Reta too that I wasn't experiencing before. Just some occasional nausea and things like that.
It's also,
so I'm thinking about just going off of it for a while.
It's also possible to this is a possibility too, like where we're sourcing this stuff from isn't always the most reliable, so the dosing may not be accurate. You may have 20 milligrams and not 10. That's another thing too, to consider.
You said you've been out for about 3 months with no issues.
Yeah. I've also had some other people that have tried it and then actually their A1C got too fucking low and they were like going hypo all the time. And guys had to come off of it because of that.
Well, in my experience with quite a few different substances is that if you do have some onset of side effects later on after taking it for a while, the thing to do is just to back off it for a minute.
Yeah.
You can come back to it with a fresh endocrine system in a few months and not have the same side effects.
I had a guy in my anabolic bodybuilding school members group post his blood work up and his LDL got down to a 10 on it. That is crazy. I'm like, that's almost too low. I've never seen that before. Pretty wild. All right, what do we got next for questions?
The next one isn't a question, but I did start from George. Did you guys see Mike Sommerfeld blow up on Eric Janicki during their leg workout? Yes, I did, and that was unhinged.
No, I didn't. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, so they were working out, and let's just say that Mike was feeling pretty spicy and didn't like one of the machines they were using because it wasn't working well. So they went and did a different machine, and but Eric got him because Eric is a much stronger person than he is, and just buried him on this hack squat, like just absolutely destroyed him. But it was an interesting thing to watch. Like, I'm like, this is where people like bodybuilders maybe need PR sometimes to be like, yeah, like, let's not put that out there. Maybe like right before the Olympia, maybe not have you like raging on another Olympian.
You mean guys might melt down when they're on Tren on prep?
Right.
What?
Oh yeah, it had all the markers of a Tren rage.
You said another Olympian. Did Eric qualify for the Olympia? Did I miss that?
No.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about Mike.
Yeah. He has in the past, though. Hasn't Eric been at the Olympia?
No. He just got his pro card this year.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, he just got his pro card.
I think he's done the amateur before, but
yeah, no, he won. I think he won his pro card at the Arnold this year, right? Yeah.
No, he didn't. It was later on.
That was Sam Sulek.
Yeah,
who won his pro card at the
Arnold. He was like third place, or something, but that was such a stacked group on that stage.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, I think Yannicki won at like a Puerto Rico pro qualifier or something like that. It wasn't the Arnold.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find it. I can't find it online.
Yeah.
Here's Training Legs with Mike Sommerfeld, and
I wonder if they took it down.
Well, here's a leg training set. Oh, it would make good content.
Oh yeah, it was interesting.
If you want views, that's a good way to get them. People love conflict.
Holy shit, yeah. Eric Janicki gets deep on his leg presses. Holy fuck, my spine would split in half if I tried to get that deep.
Yeah, it's if you want to watch him train really hard, it's a good watch.
I'm jealous because I wish I could train that hard still, man. My body just doesn't work like that anymore. This is some of it, yeah. I wish I could find the meltdown. There's Mike.
It's after they come off. It's before this. This is after the meltdown.
So it was,
like, Eric says something to him like, "How many sets did we get?" And Mike said 0 because the machine wasn't working, and like no sets counted. Yeah, I think maybe this is what it was.
Was it?
30% fluids, 30% editors, 30% this, 30% that. So we're trying to push the weight we're using only on quads, and obviously, as other muscles are not able to help.
I don't think this is it.
Yeah, it was that they'd been doing leg extensions, and then maybe it was after this. It was after he got up the leg extension machine.
I may or may not have melted down on a few people at the gym during contest prep.
It happens.
I was just thinking the other day, I had an interaction with somebody at the gym that I would have probably lost my shit on them on contest prep. Somebody said it was on the hat. It was on the hat.
It was because. Yeah, I think it was those sets on the leg press that he said didn't count because he didn't like the way the leg press was working or something. It was the. Now you definitely have those moments in prep where you think, wow, if this happened, or, if this was to happen in normal times, I would probably not respond the way I did in this moment. Not that it's an excuse to be a bad person on prep, but there are things that happen that you're like, man.
Eric's one of the few guys whose workout videos I'll watch too. I mean, he has some pretty awesome technique.
Yeah, he does seem to train hard and train smart. Yeah, I was at the gym the other day, and there was a girl. I didn't see anybody around. I saw a water bottle sitting near a machine, and there was nobody. I waited like a good 3 minutes, and nobody was there. So I just got on it and started using it. I'm like, well, I guess nobody's fucking using it. And she came back and was like kicking and stomping, and was like, I was fucking using that. And I'm like, okay, you weren't here.
Yeah. That's just like normal gym stuff. If I walked away from a machine for any amount of time and somebody else got on it, like, okay, like that's not me, not on that.
She was all the way on the other side of the gym doing something else. I guess she was supersetting something. Don't Don't get me started on supersets. I am a fucking, oh my God, it fucking pisses me off. I'm like, if you're going to do supersets, do it when the gym's not busy. 5 p.m. on a Monday when everybody's in the gym and there's, if you're doing giant sets with 3 different machines in 3 different parts of the gym, I'm sorry, you're an asshole.
Now, the worst guy is the guy who sets up on the Smith machine, goes and gets a barbell, a dumbbell, and sets up his own little personal gym space right in the middle of the gym. And he's using 7 things that other people can't use. So that he can
that annoys me the fuck too, man. Like I see the dumbbells sitting on the other side of the gym by the the hack squat machine, and I'm like, what are you doing, man?
I may or may not have thrown some dumbbells down on the ground before when people interfered with my set. Reacted rather angrily.
I need to do a short series on my gym pet peeves. My gym pet peeves that make fucking piss me off. The other one that drives me absolutely goddamn insane is we have 8 different fucking hip thrust machines at my gym, and the women just refuse to use the hip thrust machines, and they're always doing. I've just given up. Since hip thrusts have become a thing, I'm like, I've just given up ever using a Smith machine ever again in my life. Like they're just
never done hip thrusts on a Smith machine.
There is never a. And the guy that owns the gym, I'm friends with him, Jason. He actually went out and deliberately bought a hip thrust machine that's like a half. It's like a half Smith machine.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
And he's like, Paul, they still won't use it. He's like, I tried, man. I tried.
That would be the last thing I would. If there was no other option for doing hip thrusts, I might consider doing them on the Smith machine, but I probably still wouldn't. I don't see the point of doing a hip thrust on a Smith machine. I really don't. But I'm not a huge fan of the Smith machine in general. So
if I was the guy that owned your gym, Paul,
I would have glute machines.
I would just put a sign on the Smith machine that says no hip thrusts.
No hip thrust on the hip machine. It is like a scourge and a plague. Like there's times like who was it that claims to have invented the hip thrust? Was it Paul Saladino?
No, Brett Contreras.
Brett Contreras. I hate Brett Contreras just because he invented hip thrust.
Yeah.
I don't even know the guy. I joke.
Guy.
I joke. I'm sure he's a perfectly fine gentleman and very, very nice guy. But God damn it, man, I can never use the fucking Smith machine at the gym because there's always some girl on it doing hip thrusts when there's 8 goddamn hip thrust machines.
Yeah, there's a Planet Fitness for that, where they have 8 Smith machines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. People love this idea, Paul, of you doing a gym etiquette episode. We're getting all the gym etiquette stuff: attachments, racked weights, Hagen machines, personal trainers taking every piece of equipment in the gym.
I love my gym. We have 3 rules, and they have them hanging up. It's rack your weights, don't dump your drinks in your pre-workout, or basically don't dump your drinks into the water fountain. And the 3rd rule is don't be an asshole. Have it hanging up on the wall.
Yeah.
Put your weights
Anyway,
on.
I didn't mean to get on a methylene blue fueled rant on gym etiquette, man. But God damn it, man. Supersets at 5 p.m. Fuck you. Doing hip thrusts on the, we only have 2 Smith machines in the whole gym. Like, I just want to do my goddamn shoulder presses on the Smith machine because I got a beat up shoulder. That is what a Smith machine should be used for pressing and for squats. That's it. If you're doing anything else on it, fuck you.
You ever chase people down to tell them to put their weights away like I do? I'm infamous for.
Oh, they're pretty meticulous about it at my gym. They don't allow it, so you get kicked out if you do it. You get 1 warning and then you're out afterwards. So that's not an issue at our place, but God damn it,
it's never the guy with a good physique that does that kind of shit either, or girl for that matter.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's never. The slamming the plates.
Mm-hmm.
We have a we have a very, I like our gym is like segregated. We have very specific areas for certain things. Like there's like a powerlifting area. There's like a CrossFit, Olympic lifting area where those assholes work out. And then there's the bodybuilding area. But like the I can always hear the loudest motherfuckers in the whole gym are the CrossFit / Olympic lifting guys. Why do they have to be so fucking loud? That's another pet peeve. Seriously, man. I can hear you clean and jerk, whatever the fuck it is you do over there, clean and jerk off, on the other side of the gym. I'm like 100 yards away from you, and I can hear you screaming and slamming the weights all the way over there. And they also use the fake weights too, the ones that look like 45s that aren't 45s.
Well, if you throw them down hard enough, you have the most hypertrophy from the.
It's like let's see if we can make it bounce all the way back up to the ceiling when we throw it down.
It's that fast twitch muscle.
And none of those motherfuckers are ever big. None of them.
No.
I train for functional strength. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
The function of looking like a block because your midsection gets big.
Functional strength. Yeah. I would be willing to bet that even though I don't train for functional strength, I could probably kick your ass. But I could be wrong about that. Anyway, now you guys got some of my gym rants. But the reason why I haven't put the gym rant stuff up is because people already hate me and are trying to take down my social media. I'm sure it would make somebody hate me even more.
Haters are a sure sign of success, though.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. My biggest pet peeve is the dude deadlifting 135 and slamming the weight. Settle down, Beavis. Yeah, we don't get that at my gym. We get some real power lifters. No, we don't get that.
That was an excellent Gen X reference too there, Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Settle down, Beavis. Sorry, I'm on a roll today with shit. That was a question that went way off in left field. I mean, we're talking about way the fuck out there. This is what ADHD looks like, folks, when it's in full force. All right, what do we got? I don't even remember what the fucking question was. That's how far off I got from it.
It wasn't even a question. It was, we were talking about Mike Sommerfeld lifting.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a question.
See, I completely forgot. I just got completely off in left field.
We're ready for. We do have questions if you guys want them.
Yeah, let's go. Sorry.
Okay. Austin T asks, Paul, how far out would you start adding Tren and VAR, even if diet's going well and metabolism is good?
I don't like running Tren for more than 8 weeks or so, 8 to 10 max. I feel like after about 8 to 10 weeks on Tren, people start to lose their fucking minds. Yeah. I think that's about the shelf life of Tren. Anavar, I don't put orals in until about the last 6 weeks of prep. If you can wait longer, you probably are going to be better off. I honestly, when I won my pro card last year, I didn't run any orals until the last 2 weeks.
No Tren either. No
Tren. Yep. I mean, when you're running 3 grams of everything else, it works. I started Tren for about a week last year, and then I couldn't sleep, and I just, I was talking to AJ at the time, and AJ's like, "You don't need it. Just don't do it." Same thing. Roman's like, "Don't do it." I know Roman doesn't run orals or Tren on his preps, so yep, just test Masteron and Primobolan. 2 out of the 3 you can't buy anymore, but that's such as 2025.
All right.
Hopefully that ends soon.
Yeah. The next one is from Thomas Lockwood. How would you structure a post-surgery AAS protocol? Currently recovering from torn patella tendon. Oof, that's a rough one.
I have a protocol I give out to my clients. Thomas, if you want to email me, shoot me an email and I'll send you a copy of what I give to my clients. It's bigp3rd@gmail.com. I'll send you a copy because I'm that kind of guy. Or I guess I could put it in the comment section, although I don't know. YouTube might not like that.
Yeah. I'll shoot Paula an email. Thomas.
Just shoot me an email and I'll send you a copy of what I send to my clients.
All right, from 64 HAPZ, what's a safe way to rebound from a deficit without gaining body fat? About 14 to 15% body fat. We'll need the extra calories for UPS holiday work season, but don't want to throw off my physique.
All right, so yeah, you're burning more calories because you're getting more steps in delivering packages. Is that the way I'm interpreting this?
Yeah, yep, he does holiday deliveries for UPS, man. That's like, there should be an award for that.
Eat more carbs, keep the fats low.
Yeah, just
That's
increase the carbs.
yeah, just increase the carbs. Think of it this way: carbs are just energy. And the reason why, I know the keto bros will lose their mind, but the reason why we prefer carbs for energy source as bodybuilders, I'm not saying that fats can't be burned as energy, they certainly can. But the issue, you sort of have some leeway with carbs in an excess because your body can store excess carbs as glycogen. Whereas if you're in an energy surplus accidentally, one high fat diet, there's only one place the fat will get stored as energy, and that is fat, body fat. So I find carbohydrates, I mean, you can actually look, there's been studies done on it. The majority, I don't remember the exact one. I think it was a mass spectrometry test. Kurt and I talked about it in our Science of Carbohydrates video. We had some information about it, but that carbohydrates, that the majority of adipose tissue comes from dietary fat. I mean, it's just how your body partitions energy. It's not to say that there's any specific, trickery of thermodynamics going on here. It's just how your body partitions energy. Protein is mostly used for tissue repair. Carbohydrates are purely just energy or stored as glycogen, primarily first, and then secondarily as adipose, which they have to go through liponeogenesis for that to happen. They actually need to get converted into lipids for the most part before you can start storing carbohydrates as body fat. Not to say you can't get fat on carbohydrates, you certainly can. And then fats are very complex. I mean, there's certain essential fatty acids that are used for metabolic processes and tissue cellular repair and yada yada, vitamin transport. But saturated fats for the most part are what people eat in excess of, and they're generally just used for energy or stored as body fat. So I would say up your carbohydrates. This is why I like carb cycling, because if I have the way I structure diets for people when I coach them is if they have rest days, I pull the carbohydrates down lower and I'll put a little more fat in. If they have a high energy output day, we'll up the carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates are really just kind of the knob you turn. But I would figure out where your weight is at, and if you're losing weight, just turn up the carbohydrates. If you're gaining weight, turn them down a little bit, and just try to keep yourself at a net neutral energy balance when it comes to your season, and just use carbohydrates as the variable. They're the ones that you adjust up and down when you want to lose weight, gain weight, have better energy partitioning. It's kind of the way I look at them. They're the wild card, really. They're the fats. Generally, when I do diets, I keep fats pretty static, and I try to primarily get most of the fats from EFAs, omega-3s, and omega-6s, some omega-6. Keep the saturated fats low. Carbohydrates I just look at as an energy source, and we can in how we manipulate that energy partitioning. So anyway, long story.
Yeah, I'd also like to add maybe consider too looking at what kind of physique you are too, because like myself, for example, 14-15% body fat might be right at that edge of where I would want to start my rebound. I might want to be a little bit in a leaner sense, just to give myself more runway for growing, but also
that's a good point.
I know that being a little bit leaner is going to just put my insulin sensitivity and that food response sensitivity a little bit better position too. So we're going to gain some body fat there in a growing scenario. So might as well give yourself a little more runway at 14 to 15% body fat, in my opinion.
Here's a thought. You could use all that walking to burn some fat.
Yeah.
I mean, take advantage of it if you're already doing it. Maybe run just a slight deficit. Do some carb cycling, pick one day a week to push the carbohydrates higher to replenish glycogen and use it as take advantage of it and use it to burn some fat. That's another, get your body fat down to more like 8 to 10%.
Yeah.
As Dave mentioned. And then so that way you have a runway to actually do an effective size add.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean there's so many unanswered questions here too. I mean, like how long has he been in the deficit? Like how much has he, what has his composition change been in this deficit? Because at some point, you do have to, even if you'd like to be leaner, if he's been aggressively dieting for 20, 30 weeks, regardless of
you're
where
gonna
his
need a break.
composition is at, he might need a break. Like there's always some other factors there too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's also a fair point too.
Nick had a kind of a follow-up question for you, Paul. Like, how often do you recalibrate protein and fat? Assuming carbs are the lever you're pulling at some point, you probably want to bring those in line. Like, is there a set amount of, like, if you're cutting somebody, do you readjust those when they've lost like 5 to 10 pounds, or when do you, if ever?
For the most part, I keep protein and fat pretty static year round. There are times I think most guys overeat protein, I would say, but protein is somewhat of a free pass if you look at the metabolic pathways for it to be converted into body fat. It's almost, I'm not saying you can't get fat from eating protein only, but there are many steps that have to happen for protein to get turned into fat. I mean, it has to be converted into glucose, and then from glucose to lipids, and it's just like there's so many steps in there and so much thermic loss of energy between those steps that it's basically, and you're just going to piss it out essentially if you overeat protein. But I would say for the most part, people overeat protein. I do somewhere between 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight, depending on the person. But I'd say most people eat, I'd say 1 gram to 1.25 grams is sufficient for most people, and just keep it there. I don't lower it on fat loss phases because people, if anything, I increase it because it's satiating. Mm-hmm. With fats, I would say, you need a certain amount of EFAs in your diet. You don't need a ton, maybe like 30 grams a day, 40 grams a day. And then you are going to get some, even if you keep your protein sources lean, like if you're just eating chicken and fish and lean ground beef, you're still going to get another 30 or 40 grams of fat from your protein sources a day, just from trace fats from there. So you're probably going to be eating 60 to 70 grams of fat per day, no matter what. And I don't want to yank those EFAs out because they are important for health. So really the lever I pull is just carbohydrates for the most part to create a deficit. And then I do it in spots. That's why I carb cycle. Like, I don't want guys, if we think about fat loss critically, what we want to do is maximize fat loss while minimizing or preventing muscle loss. And we want to also, if we can, promote glycogen synthesis and keep some level of glycogen to help performance in the gym. So cycling the carbs makes sense to me. We'll take days where we will pull the carbs down really low to get a deep deficit. I had a guy recently, and I don't know why it didn't occur. This doesn't occur to a lot of people on the high carbohydrate day. He was scared to push the high carbohydrate day any higher. He's like, well, I don't want to affect my fat loss. I'm like, dude, you're already in surplus. You're not going to be losing any fat on the high carbohydrate day. You might as well maximize your glycogen synthesis and be as aggressive with those carbs as you can get away with without gaining fat on that high day. That's why I'll push the carbs super high. Like, guys, when they hear 800-900 grams of carbs on a high day, they get terrified, like, oh shit, I'm going to get fat. But Dave can tell you, I mean, that doesn't happen. Mike can tell you that doesn't happen because of how your body partitions that energy. So we use that day, we're already in a surplus, so we might as well take full advantage of it and maximize glycogen synthesis so we can keep performance in the gym and keep ourselves from flattening out. And then the days that we pull the carbohydrates low, you might as well pull them down to fucking 0 on some days to maximize fat burning. Basically do a protein sparing modified fast 1 or 2 days a week. That's kind of how I will cycle it when I got guys. And then the other days I usually keep I'll pull carbohydrates out of the other meals, but keep them around the workout window so we can at least have some semblance of performance in the gym. What I've found too with carbohydrates is once you get below 150 grams or so, you might as well just go to 0 because you get into this I mean, seriously, you just get in this weird nether region where your body can't get into ketosis and you feel like dog shit. So you might as well just yank them down to zero, maximize some fat burning. And a lot of times I'll see guys will slip into ketosis quickly, especially if they've been in a deficit all week. But
well, and there's some good things that you can do to help encourage your body to start oxidizing fat too, like SLUPP332 or retatrutide.
Even some MCT oil.
Yeah.
On those low fat, starting your day off with a little bit of MCT. On those, if you want to experiment sometime, try MCT, a little bit of MCT oil at your first meal, and you'll go and get some keto sticks. You'll see you get into ketosis really quick. Within a meal or two, usually. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of my my thought process on the carb cycling diets. And the more I've gotten to dial them in over the time, be aggressive on the high day, use that as a refill day. Protein and fat. I will pull, like on the high carbohydrate day, I do pull the fats down as close to zero as I possibly can get them. I do leave a tiny bit of EFAs in, maybe like a fish oil pill with each meal. Because if we're in a caloric surplus and we're eating fat, and your insulin's also going to be high, any excess dietary fat that you eat is going to get partitioned as adipose. So we want to keep fats as low as we can on those carbohydrate days. Yeah. We're really, and this is kind of the process I learned from Justin over the years. We're tricking the energy management systems of the body, how the body partitions energy to maximize that. We want to prevent muscle loss. We want to maximize glycogen synthesis and maximize fat burning. And that's sort of kind of the beauty and the magic of the carb cycling approach. I'm not saying it's the only way to approach a diet. I know the keto bros will get mad. I think keto and carnivore are great for people that don't like math and like counting shit, because it's really just an elimination diet at the end of the day. If you're not going to count calories or weigh your food, it's a simple way of creating a calorie deficit, because you're also eliminating all the trash foods. You're not eating donuts, you're not eating pizza, you're not eating French fries, all the shit that makes you fat. It's really the high fat, simple carbohydrate, saturated fat, simple carbohydrate combo that really is just, if you want rapid fat gain, I mean, that's how they do it in lab rats. They feed them a high fat, high starch rat chow, and they'll just fucking blow up overnight. They tried feeding them high carbs. It didn't work that well to make them fat. They tried feeding them high fat only. That didn't work that well for making them fat, but it's the high fat, high starchy carb combo that accelerates fat gain. See any bro post show that eats cookies and donuts for a week straight and pizza, and watch what happens to them. Would you say, Mike?
No, I was just saying pizza. I threw pizza in that as the summary of carbs and fat together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you think about it, like all the shit that people associate with being high sugar, like really, like if you look at a pint of Ben & Jerry's, there's actually just as many calories, maybe even more from the sugar than there is from the fat than there is from the sugar. Same thing with pizza, like probably half the calories from a pizza is from fat. So it's really that if you want to set up a scenario where you have rapid fat gain, the way to do it is to eat high fat, high simple carbohydrate diet. And that's the way really it's, so we need to consider that when we're creating diets and for fat loss, how the body's going to partition energy.
High saturated fat, especially
high saturated fat. Yes.
Yeah. And to go back to the question, I think, the time when you actually increase protein and make those adjustments is generally when you've gained weight, right? When you've added muscle tissue, that equation changes. If you're eating a 1 and 1 1/4 grams per pound of body weight, or 1 to 1.5, and all of a sudden your body weight's 10 or 15 pounds higher, then it's time to maybe turn the protein up a little bit.
I'll sometimes use it just for satiety. Like if guys are telling me they're struggling with appetite, which probably shouldn't be an issue now with all the GLP-1s we have at play. But, if I get somebody saying like, I'm just fucking dreaming about food, I'll just say, eat an omelet before you go to bed, or eat a lean steak. And that usually quells the hunger pangs. but there's not any really physiological need for it. It's just in there to make people feel full, and something that's going to digest slow and fill them up and increase satiety. But I will sometimes push protein up if we're in a deep deficit and people are struggling to keep them going.
Yeah, and it takes so much calories to just digest protein that you really can't overeat it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty hard to overeat protein, as the carnivore guys have proven. You can pretty much eat unlimited amount of ribeyes and get lean. Now, what your lipids look like, that's another question. Anyway, another rant. Sorry, on a roll today.
All right. Got time for a couple more questions. We have a couple more good ones. So from Derek, he asks, is 200 milligram test by itself a good first cycle? Lifetime Natural with low T, making pretty good progress without it, all things considered. And he then asked, how lean should someone be to make the most of their first cycle?
Yeah, I would say 200 is a high-end TRT dose. Super physiological ranges of testosterone, to me, we're sort of in the 300 plus range. I usually like starting guys off around there and then slowly escalating doses as we go to find out. Then there's going to be an upper limit of what you can handle because of estrogen and DHT related side effects. Figuring out where that is. Guys usually land somewhere between 300 and 500 milligrams before they need an aromatase inhibitor or a secondary compound. But I would say yes, that's probably a good place to start if you've never run before. And then I would just slowly start moving up the dose and seeing how you respond to things. I would definitely have an aromatase inhibitor on hand in case you run into problems. And just kind of go from there. And then second cycle, usually I kind of anymore. My thought process is to start off with the physiologic or the bioidentical hormones first. Start off with test and GH for first cycle. I'd say those are the two that I probably would start off with, and then second cycle consider using something that's going to modulate estrogen in some way. Masteron, EQ, Primobolan. Although Primobolan and Masteron are difficult to locate right now, so they may not be in the equation.
Well, I don't know how old Derek is, but if you're a young guy and you have pretty good progress without anything, maximize that progress first before you add anything.
That's not what Derek wants to hear. He wants to hear about all the gear he needs to take, right? Come on.
Well, and he says his testosterone is low. I mean, optimizing it, getting it to is it low, like clinically low, or, how low are we talking? I mean, that's part of it. That could be part of it too. I mean, his replacement dose might be different just to get him up to not normal levels if he's really that low. Oh, he's 35. So yeah, if you're 35 and it's low, probably feel better. Even if you're not lean. I know you asked that too, like how lean should someone be before they start? I mean, I would say even if someone is carrying a fair amount of body fat, if their testosterone is very low, they'll still get some benefit from at least getting their levels back up to like normal range, just to feel better and to work out better. Yeah.
Yeah. If he was 19, that's a different answer, but 35, definitely.
Yeah. All right. From Rise 41, we got any thoughts on microdosing test for females for better body composition? I don't know what you mean by microdosing. I mean, I think, what do you guys think on this one?
I imagine he just means low dose, HRT protocols, I'd imagine.
I think that's probably more what he means, is just actually doing testosterone replacement for women. I mean, if it's warranted, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of women are surprisingly, I mean, this is something Ryan Root talks about quite a bit, is that, testosterone is not just a male hormone, it is a female hormone as well, and it's something that's kind of necessary for the females as well. And I do see a lot of women, once they go on it, seem to feel a lot better. And yeah, it tends to be pretty low doses. It's starting to become more common. It's not really kind of a strange practice any longer.
And it makes your lady HORNY.
Correct.
So if you need some help there too. But,
yeah.
If you want to improve her body composition and your love life.
Most of the HRT clinics are doing a combination of test, progesterone and estrogen with, but women are a little more complex than men. You got to get all three kind of dialed in appropriately. DHEA. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff with women that need to be dialed in appropriately, and it's way more sensitive to doses than men. A couple milligrams makes a huge difference in women. Like, 2 milligrams of testosterone ain't doing shit for me. I breathe and I take 300 milligrams of testosterone. And, a woman does that, she's going to be having a gender reassignment. So,
yeah, and anything that you compare a female dose to a male dose is going to seem like a micro dose, right? Like,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is a TRT dose for women, Amy? Like 10 milligrams a week?
Yep. Typically 5 to 10 for most women. I mean, some women will start off even at like 3 and get a really good bump. I mean, so it's a different compounded concentration, obviously. So it's a 25 milligram per milliliter instead of, what you guys use. So it's definitely a much smaller dose and a smaller concentration as well.
Yeah, you don't want to be giving your lady your UGL gear that you have no idea what it's dosed at or what's in it. So, yeah.
My wife does really well at like 25 a week, 25 milligrams a week. And her levels will actually test kind of high, like over 300, which a lot of the HRT clinics think is high, but that's where she feels good. And this is another thing that Ryan talks about all the time. It's just 9 times out of 10, it just boils down to how you feel, and your ability to effectively communicate that to your healthcare provider. Like, if you don't speak up and say, hey, I took this and it made me feel like this, then they're not going to know how to dose you. And then, of course, having the right provider on the other end who's going to interpret that correctly and make proper adjustments.
Yeah, and allow some time to dial it in too, because it takes a while.
Took my wife years.
Women are slower metabolizers of testosterone as well. So they may not need a weekly dose. It could be every 10 days or even a little bit longer. And it's a lot more based on feel. And the age of the woman as well is going to play a big role in that, because if she's still menstruating and having other hormonal fluctuations throughout the month, like there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts of the symphony of hormones that are happening in a woman's body on a regular basis, which is different than men, like where testosterone peaks during her cycle, where progesterone peaks. So it's more than just adding testosterone in most cases to really optimize how someone feels or how a woman feels. And Tanya's right. Like sometimes just adding in DHEA for women or a little bit of pregnenolone, like sometimes just getting their body to naturally kind of upregulate some hormonal function is enough. I mean, obviously, if they're looking for more physique enhancement, adding testosterone is going to be beneficial, but making sure that all hormones are optimized, not just adding in testosterone blankly, is going to be the best bet for most women.
Yep. Agreed. I'm not the hormone expert on women, by the way, so whatever I say probably is wrong.
The only reason I know anything is that I've walked through this with my wife for several years. And for several
if you want to know how to be a brute female bodybuilder, I got you covered, but you want to dial in the TRT or HRT doses, there are people way smarter than me.
Ryan, they put out a lot of good information over on Hormones for Me, the Hormones for Me channel, for sure.
They do.
Yeah.
I see you back there, dude, trying to get in the food.
Oh. All right. We got one from Larry. In a rebound, how aggressive are you with carb increases? I know we talk about 25-gram daily bumps during the bulk of the off season. I'm thinking about doing a 50-gram bump this week from 500 up from 500 on my medium days.
I get aggressive with it on the rebound if I can get away with it. You can always dial it back. That's the time to get aggressive with it. In the off season, I'm a little more conservative and make smaller jumps. But man, Larry, I gave Larry a nudge to be more aggressive with his food, and the progress pics have been crazy. He's just soaking. I figured he looked like he was primed just to soak it all up, man. He looks like he's put on like 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, he looks great. Like he looks full. He looks hard. Like he looks really good.
Yeah, I told you, don't be afraid of the carbs, Larry. Carbs are your friend. Unless you're diabetic like me, then maybe they aren't.
Yeah. So Larry,
See, I got a diabetic plug in there. Everybody loves when I do that.
All right. So this one is from Allie. Got a question for you. How do you coach power lifters? How do you usually program them different than bodybuilders, timeline, etc.?
With food, it's a little different. With bodybuilding, generally, like with the carb cycling, we want to time it out where we have the carbs on deck. It takes a full 48 hours for glycogen, up to 48 hours for glycogen to fully synthesize. So we don't really want to be loading the day of a meet. We want to have, or whenever you need to do your peak lifts, we kind of want a day or two in advance of that. That's when we would want to be positioning the high days in. PED protocols are a little bit different because with the stuff that we want for physique enhancement and for peaking for shows is way different than what it is for powerlifting and bodybuilding. It's the exact opposite. In fact, like for powerlifters want a little bit of water retention because it helps with leverage. Powerlifters want, basically it's the polar opposite of what we do for bodybuilding. We want to be dry and hard and lean going into a bodybuilding show, which is not conducive to being strong, as any bodybuilder can tell you. You're weak as shit going into a bodybuilding show. So with powerlifting, the diet's a little bit different. We want to position the high carb day so we are fully glycogen loaded going into a meet or a max lift. Most of our gear is going to be oriented to probably stuff that's going to be higher converting to estrogen, that's going to cause a little more water retention, and stuff that's going to promote central nervous system motivation so we can have better lifts. I mean, really, we want to have CNS motivation for lifts. So anadrol would be an example. Halotestin would be another example of stuff that's, anadrol is mostly non-genomic, and we're going to get that CNS stimulation that's necessary to move weights around. Really, our goal is to move weights around, increase leverage. We may have to do some manipulation to make weight for a meet if guys are trying to make weight classes, and then we have to fill up afterwards and bloat guys up, for lack of a better term. That's why you see dudes bleeding from their eyeballs at powerlifting meets sometimes, because God only knows what their blood pressure is when they're out there from the shit we do. So it's basically whatever you think about for bodybuilding, it's the exact fucking opposite for powerlifting. Same thing with any kind of athlete. Like I do train some athletes. I work with some football players. I work with some MMA guys. They don't want to be loaded up with food the day of the sport, whatever they're doing for their sport. So we try to have them fully glycogen loaded going into whatever the event is, and a little bit lighter probably the day off.
All right. So this one is from Save 15% or More. This is actually the second half of his question, that he's 25, 5'11", sitting around 20% body fat, and is wondering if he should add Primo to his current test cycle or just take his test up to 300 milligrams a week.
So what was so he's at?
He's 25, 5'11", 225, thinks he's probably around 20% body fat.
I'd clean up some body fat in that diet first, like he kind of mentioned. Get those underlying things in line first. Make sure your diet's in line. Get your physique a little bit cleaned up with some body fat if you can.
You want to be a little bit leaner.
Yeah.
I usually don't throw in a secondary anabolic until we've hit 300 tests. I mean, that's kind of the threshold for me. I mean, just because of how most things are dosed, if you think about it, like 300 tests, 200 Primo is kind of where I would live. But if you're not at 300 tests, it's not worth adding in a second compound unless you want to address aromatization. That's your objective, then maybe. But yeah, otherwise I would just not. I would just run tests and get lean. I would just focus on getting lean. If I were going to add anything in, I'd probably add in like Reta and maybe some Motzi or something and get leaner first. Get down to like 12%.
Yeah, and I would, having that discipline in the kitchen is huge. I mean, saying, "Oh, if I took this substance and I would clean my diet up," like that's not a real good mental approach to have these things. It's like clean the diet up and then add some more compounds.
I can tell you from coaching people, I think sometimes guys are disappointed when they come to me because they think I'm going to have some super secret cycle for them, and really 90% of my focus is on the diet. It's another little rant for you. Like the area that I can make the single biggest difference and transform people in the fastest amount of time possible. It's not drugs. It's not training. It's cleaning up their diet, getting their diet on point. I can really I can get people. What's up, Chris Cashman? Yeah, I mean, so get that diet cleaned up. If you were going to add anything in, I would probably, like I mentioned to the other guy, I usually start off with testing GH, the bioidentical hormones first, get that weight off. And then, you can consider a secondary compound. It's kind of where I would be.
All right.
Chris knows. Chris is transformed.
So from Johnny Cook, do you guys have a fertility protocol so that you don't have to come off TRT to have kids?
I do, in fact. Another one, if you want to email me, just email me. I'll send it to you. I know quite a few bodybuilders that have gotten their ladies pregnant while on gear. Just ask Ronnie Coleman. He's had like 12 kids. I think, well, my daughter was definitely on cycle. My son, I was not at the time. I was a fat mess when my son came about. One more, and then I'm going to wrap this up.
Paul, real quick, are you a fan of staying? Guys that have the long-term plan of trying to stay fertile, down the road. Are you one that's a big fan of HCG all the time, or you
Nope.
Run your cycle and then fix your fertility after that?
I have yet, not, and I'm not saying it's impossible. I've yet to see anybody make themselves infertile from running gear. I mean, if you think about it, birth control for women are steroidal hormone. Women don't make themselves infertile taking methyl estradiol or whatever.
They can. Women
they
who
can.
are on, who are on long-term birth control can definitely have difficulty conceiving. It can shut things down.
It can. It's. I would just say it's uncommon. I like the HCG to me comes with so many damn problems. Yeah. It's really going to mess up estrogen conversion. There's a bunch of other issues that have it. I mean, if you want to run it and you got the money to burn, I'll defer to you guys, Tanya and Amy. I am not the women's fertility expert or women's hormone expert. I know shit all. So you guys are right. I'm wrong about that one. Don't listen to me. My point is I don't know. I've not met any guys that haven't been able to have kids. Not saying that it couldn't happen. I just haven't seen it,
Yeah. We answered all the questions today. Like last week, I feel like I had like tons left. Yeah, this week we got them all.
All right. Well, I'm going to go watch the Commanders game. Then my work is done here. Yeah, your Pulse at HCG is a guide about it for me. Yeah, if you have any estrogen related issues, HCG is not a good play. I have not found it to be that productive for guys. I know some dudes get concerned about the size of their balls, but most guys, if you run a fertility protocol, usually they can. And also, like I've heard Steve say this, if you were that concerned, just freeze some sperm and have it on call for later. And if you need it, then you have it. All right, folks, I think that's all we got for you. Appreciate each and every one of you. We will see you on the next episode. Adios, bros.